Good afternoon, everyone. How's your weekend? How's the homework?
Okay.
Okay. Any comments about the homework?
You changed the due date to Wednesday, is that correct?
For assignment 2, I changed to Wednesday, correct? Because we haven't covered what we need to know. So it sounds like some of you try to just play around and get it completed, but it's not due until Wednesday. All right, so today we're going to, actually before we talk about today, just wanted to say yet again, we have a guest speaker tomorrow at 5 p.m. in this room. Steve from Intentional Futures, he's a creative director at a local strategy and design company. And there is a poster outside of the door. And he'll talk about using design to meet challenges of, I guess, when you have a complex matters to discuss, and also the importance of research and design. So that sounds like a very interesting talk, especially for those of you on the design track and even not. So if you can make it at 5 p.m. tomorrow, come on. He's going to be guest to the web 1:30, but everyone is welcome to come. All right. Okay. So for today, we're going to finish talking about objects. So last time we learned how to create what we call a literal object. In other words, if you wanted one hotel, we know how to now create one hotel with its own properties and methods. But what if you wanted to crank out like a factory of objects and create multiple hotels or multiple student objects or constructor objects or whatever the case may be? We're going to learn how to use the constructor to construct multiple objects with the same template or the same set of method and property characteristics, if that makes sense. And your homework will be due Wednesday to create your own, think of an object that you're interested in or you want to work with, and then define its properties and methods, and then create a couple of what we call instances of those objects. And I'm hoping we're going to have some lab time today to work on that. And afterwards, we're going to move to the next chapter, which has a lot of material in it. It's going to be the chapter which discusses how to make loops and repetitions in programming. If you have had a programming class before, this will be probably relatively easy. If it's the first time you encounter those concepts, it might take a little bit of time, and I suspect it will take 2 class sessions to go through them, because it's not only a new concept, but also there are more than one ways that you can do the same thing. So we're going to go over the different ways that you can make decisions in programming, in JavaScript in this case, and also loop multiple times if it's necessary in your program. All right? Any questions or comments? Okay. Yes.
I have a question. So I did homework too, and I looked at the example, and they had CSS applied. Do you care whether or not we have CSS applied because it's not a CSS class?
Right. So with this point, so far I haven't cared about the CSS. At some point, when we get a little more solid, it would be nice. We're going to include the CSS from the examples in our examples.
Okay.
And you can start building some kind of CSS for your assignments as well.
But, okay.
Maybe let's say in a couple sessions you can start including some CSS.
Okay.
You're right, it's not directly related to this point. Although I should also say that a few sessions down the road we're also going to learn how to manipulate CSS, and at this point then you need to have one. Maybe that's the time when we're going to say you must have.
Cool.
Thanks. Good question. Can I help you?
Yes.
How can I help you? Because you're in class right now.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Maybe you can go to the Build Division office and they can help you there. Okay. Everything is a bit slow. It looks like the network is a bit slow today. Is this just me or everyone? It's nice to have a monologue up here.
Seems okay to me. Seems normal.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam. All right, and we did cover also functions last time. You might have some questions. So would you like to do another function example today as well in our lab time? Okay, so we'll create one or more additional functions to practice this skill, and then we're going to create our constructor objects. Okay. All right, so just a reminder, I guess you guys don't see the screen here. Here is an example of what? What is an example of it here? What kind of, it is an object, but what kind of object more specifically?
Hotel.
It's a hotel. What I was asking is that it's a literal object. So it's a literal object. And then these are the key value pairs, which the key value pair makes the property. And then the method works with the properties, right? And we played around with using the dot notation. Remember? If you use the object name dot notation, then you have access to what? Aaron?
If you have to say it again.
You have the name of the object and then you use the dot notation, which is that dot. So if you press dot, this is going to give you access to what?
To that container, like that variable.
The name of the object.
Like it'll print that, right?
This is all true. What I was looking for, maybe my question was not clear, was that you're going to have access to all the properties and methods of that object. The name is one example of a property of the hotel object. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So if we go back,
Once you type in hotel dot, then you have access to anything within that object.
correct. You have access to all of these. So you could say hotel.rooms, hotel.booked, hotel.gym, hotel.room types. You have to specify the index of the array, or hotel.check availability, and that's the method. I don't recall if we did an example of updating an object. We changed the name. I think we did that. Yeah. Okay, well, if we didn't, then we can do it today, but I'm actually pretty sure we did. So if you wanted to change the name of a property, this would be the way you do that. You're going to say the name of the object dot the name of the property, and then in this case, you're changing the name of the hotel to Mark. You could certainly say hotel.rooms is equal to, maybe they build some new rooms, whichever the case may be, is equal to 50, or you can reduce them, right? Sometimes hoteliers are going to hide their rooms until late in the evening on the weekend so they can charge more, so maybe they put down that they have no vacancy and so forth. Okay, so this is the new value of that property. This is the alternative syntax. You don't need to necessarily learn, just be familiar with it. We can just stick with using the dot notation. I think that's more clear. Okay. Oh, okay. Another topic for today, which I guess I didn't mention in the introduction, is there are some built-in objects we're going to work with. So before I start with this topic, let's actually go ahead and do those constructor objects I've been telling you about since last week, so you can get your homework done. So open your bracket. We're going to do a coding example or two, and then I would like to talk to you about this very important topic of the built-in objects in the browser, in the document, and JavaScript built-in objects. So brackets. see. This is chapter 3. Okay. I assume by now everyone knows to set up your folder to work from, right? Otherwise, you might have issues running your code. And then we're going to have a new file, new HTML file titled obj-constructor.html. So let's create our HTML for this example. This will be object with constructor notation, let's say. And then we can continue working with this travel-worthy example. ID info. And then we're going to have IDs, divs with IDs for hotel name. Availability. Rooms. Paragraph with ID of rooms. And paragraph with idea of, actually this is not the ID, but we're just going to put rooms left. So this will be the inner HTML. Remember I used this term last time. The inner HTML is the HTML between the tags, and this is just going to print out as is. And then we close our, let's see here, one div. The availability div is going to close after the paragraph, so move the closing tag here, if you will. Okay, so let's start a new JavaScript file. Name it obj-constructor.js and put it in the JS folder. Okay, so we're going to, we're in JavaScript now, and then we need to go back and import this file. So we're going to add a comment, set up the object. And then we're going to say var hotel is equal to a new object. And the new is a keyword, and this is the syntax for creating essentially a new object. So the type of this hotel now is not a string or a number, it's a type object. This variable is now a type object, and we have what we call instantiated it with this syntax. So now we have a new object of type hotel, and then we can say now hotel dot name is equal to park hotel with rooms is equal to 120 . 77 are booked. Sorry, these are the 120 is not a string, a number. And so we are defining these as we go here. As you can see, they're not coming up. So we are defining them right here, all the properties and the methods. So we're saying check availability is equal to a function and return this dot rooms minus this dot booked. And I'm going to pause now, and I'm going to ask you to unpack what goes on here on line 9 and 10. What is what? So what are we doing here? Right?
Okay, so you're taking the value of hotel.rooms, and then you're taking the value of hotel.booked, feeding them into that function, and subtracting this.booked from this.rooms. Because this.rooms is more than this.booked, it'll return a positive number.
Okay?
But the way you have it set up, it'll also return a negative number.
Right, it could. So that's the implementation of the function, and that's definitely part of it. There is also one other thing that's going on here. Is this a function then?
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's not a function, it's a method. Well, it's a method. We use the function keyword to define a method, but because it belongs to an object, we call it a method. Okay? So remember we said that if you have a variable that belongs to an object, we call it a property. And if you have a function that belongs to an object, we call it a method. Okay? So that's what's going on here. We're creating a method check availability. The syntax for creating this method is by using the function keyword, which belongs to JavaScript, and then this is our implementation, which is using the properties. And in fact, the method, by definition, will do some modification to the properties of the object. Yes, Adam?
Can you talk about the word this?
Yeah.
Is it a replacement for hotel?
Yeah, I was going to ask about this. That's exactly what it is. So the this keyword, I think we talked about it last time as well. It's a keyword, and it refers, if you say this dot, what you mean is I'm referring to the current object we're in. In this case, we are actually in the hotel object, so instead of saying hotel.rooms, which probably will also work actually if we tried it, we can say this.rooms. So this is a common way of saying I'm referring to the current object. All right? And you're seeing that all the keywords in the language are color coded. And do you remember the return keyword, what it does?
Gives you the result.
It's going to give you the result. It's going to pass the result out of the function and back to the rest of the program. Otherwise, if you don't return out of the function, you can think about it like closed boxes, and what is inside doesn't leave that box unless you use the return word, which then brings it out of the box.
Start
Properly
over,
for the
right?
scope.
Start over there.
And then if you get, it's, you can start over or you can use it later.
Yeah.
If you didn't return it, you couldn't use the result after the closing brackets. So the curly braces are what closes the scope. This is the word we use. It's a block scope, a function scope. And variables that are defined within a certain scope are only available in that scope unless you return them, and then they become available to a larger scope. Okay, and now we are going to want to write out the hotel name and the rooms. So let's go ahead and set up our variables here. So we have a variable with a name of element name is equal to document dot get element by ID. And we want to use the hotel name. And by now I hope everyone knows what is this here, hotel name in quotation marks. What is this referring to? The idea of hotel, the idea of the element with the idea of hotel name. That didn't sound very clear, but.
Okay, element by ID.
And then we want to set with the text content property to display the name of the hotel. So what do you think we need to say here? We want to display park. What would be the syntax for that? Take a guess, and if you don't guess it right, it's fine.
It's a string, so just in quotes, right?
Well, we could do this. That would be literal string park, and that will work. But that means that if we change something in the object, we're no longer referring to this. Hotel name. So hotel.name. How about hotel.name? And so this way, indirectly, we're referring to park Adam, but we're going through the object, which means that if we now change park to some other name, we can propagate this to our output, right? Okay?
Can we use a variable here if we want to use like different hotels?
I'm going to show you how to create multiple instances in the next example. So we're getting to it in a moment. And let's just go ahead and print, okay, and then I would like you to try by yourself to output the number of available rooms. So see if you can do this by yourself, and then I will do it if necessary up here. So what you want to say is you want to show the availability of the hotel. I was just 43 or something like that.
I want to know how different between
43, right?
object constructor and object literal.
The difference
The
is that you don't
Yeah.
create a new instance with the literal object. With the literal object, we just defined it. Do you remember?
Yes.
And we can maybe look at that example. But the constructor is going to have a new object constructed as the constructor. And I wanted to try out to do this. I wanted to try to print to the HTML the availability of the rooms. So try this.
So var.
Just think about it for a moment. Try doing it, and if it doesn't, write it out. Maybe do it.
Is that right?
Yeah. Go print. Why don't you test it for me?
Oh, 1 second.
If you got it, if you call it and you think it's correct, then run the HTML and see. And you need to add the JavaScript.
I just can't see the HTML
Sure.
because I have the something.
And you need to add a script tag here. Actually, that's something else you should
Yeah.
try to do by yourself, and then we'll do it together. But it's really good to practice independently. So you should test it. You need one available to get online. So just submit it. It's not a problem. We're trying to produce, to bring to the HTML the number of rooms available in this data, which is 43. Yeah. Working? Okay, so you haven't started, so try do repeat. So how many rooms are available? Because 120 minus 76. Okay, then we can calculate 77. So you actually take a method there, do this calculation. So what I'm asking you to do is to call the method to display the result in the HTML. Try it.
Minus. Display.
The JavaScript.
So those lines that you need to add will be very similar to the lines 13 and 14. Right? So this is the big hint I'll give you. If you're not sure where to start, you just need to make some changes to line 13 and 14 to get this, what I'm asking you to do. Maybe another minute and then we can do it as a group.
No. There we go.
Shall we do it together as a group then? Did anyone want to come up here and type it instead of me?
We are just
Yes,
put
I
check availability instead of made.
There you go.
Was there?
It don't take much there.
Yeah, there is.
Well, we have one other change we need to make though. Okay, so one change that you said is to say check availability. And remember that's a method, so we have to use the parents, but we need to do one other different thing. Okay, what else do we need to change? The ID. And the ID we want to use is,
Availability.
Element.
is it wrong?
And
then we need-
back to HTML to call the APS.
One other change here, guys. So we changed the ID to rooms. We
That
changed, what else do we need? One other change.
The method.
What is with the method? What do we need to do?
EL room, I guess.
The availability.
There you go. We need to change the element, the variable that holds the ID because it's different. It's not going to be the name. It's a different variable
Oh, the rule.
because we're referring to a different ID and different HTML node. So we're going to say, I guess, rooms. And now we have two different variables. So now, if we add the JavaScript here,
We call the folder, right?
I'm sorry.
We call the
Yeah, we need to
file,
call the script, yeah. And so do you guys remember how to do this? Right?
name of the name of the folder.
There it is. And now if we save all,
Do I have to say like JS and then name of the folder? Not right away name of the folder.
you just have to match the path. So here is the 43 rooms in Park Hotel left. Yes, Adam.
Is there a reason the O is capitalized in the file type?
Where? Oh, here?
Yeah.
Mm,
It seems to be that way in both of them.
I think I mistyped it. Maybe that's why. It's just me. Generally, I tried to use actually lowercase. It was a typo. It's just brackets is picking up whatever is there. Let me just answer his questions and then I'll answer yours. So you don't have to put JS here. You have to match. So your folder structure has to match. But it's a better practice too. You could just put them all in here, but if you have a lot of files, it becomes very hard to manage if they're not organized in subfolders. So it's just a good practice to get into, even though it might not make a difference. For this example, down the line, it's going to make a big difference. Okay. Christopher?
Yeah, may I see your JavaScript?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't believe the parentheses after hotel got checked in.
The reason you need a parenthesis is because the syntax of the grammar of the language is such that if you have a function or a method, you have to use. It's like a convention, like in English, if you have a sentence, the convention would be equal to stand with a period, for example. So the convention, if it's a method, ends with parentheses. If it's a property, is these guys here,
Yeah.
it doesn't. So this is actually one of the built-in properties we're going to learn about, which are available to us. So let's do one more example with the multiple objects.
I'm getting any in, so it's not transferring the number
We're
right.
getting an error?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look.
Sure. What's the typo? Okay, that's what I got. So,
Not a number, okay?
not a number. So,
So,
this might apply here.
Did you put in?
And a semicolon or a error.
I don't know if you.
That's a number, and that's a number.
you don't have opening bookmarks, so you have to check availability.
Okay, so because you have a number there on line 6,
Yeah.
this is room, whereas the other one is room. So it's not finding the guys.
Got it. Typo.
Hopefully, I think they'll probably fix it.
Thank you.
And in fact, if you had run it in the Firefox Chrome debugger, you probably have seen
It'll probably show up in the
it probably would say undefined variable.
Oh, if I look down here, maybe Jason might manage.
Maybe, yeah, I like using it. Okay, let's do one more example with objects. Let's see here. So we can reuse our HTML, and we're just going to create a new JavaScript, and I hope that's not more confusing than shortcut, but I would like us to reuse the HTML that we have, and then we're going to create a new, well, actually save as, take the HTML we have, and let's save as objects dash multiple, and I'll make it lowercase here, obj dash multiple dot HTML. Okay. And now in the object dash multiple, everything will be the same except we're going to create a new JavaScript file. Is everyone following? I'm getting an impression that you're not.
My other one's not working, so.
Okay, did you run the Chrome debugger to see the error? The Chrome console? Always do this first.
I don't really understand.
All right. So go ahead and let me take a look at it. Okay, so then, is this your latest? Alright, so look at those sheet line. This should bring the cost. And you always want to see if you get some error because it's the cost. So basically, this is here.
Oh, same thing.
It's not functional. Let's go use get to the JavaScript file.
But then go.
So the errors sometimes are not very descriptive, but it is, for instance, in the general area. These are more like suggestions. That's why I don't really like you guys to look at the list right now. I'm suggesting for you to go with the. Alright, so let's see here. So maybe there's a different error near there.
So I lost the other.
Are you linked? This isn't
Where are
Oh,
JS. Here, because it's not in that folder.
just looking at the
I thought
This room versus JS.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
They both.
yeah, I guess it is.
You look at it, you're like, the more you know, the less you see.
Sorry. So I have to sort that with your right.
She just wants to do each zone.
We're gonna say
Yes, it did.
so
I
we're
don't like
gonna
the
look
print,
at that. So you need to just
It's not like I
close
didn't doctor it up
that.
when I got to work. You know,
It might work, but I'm trying to make sure
Yeah,
that
yeah, like
the way
things,
it
right?
is the way that it's not going to introduce solution. So going HTML. And then we're gonna do sometimes brackets will not.
So it's equals one. So plus equals means
The blue shift
basically
provider.
they would say one. Or like that one. That's it.
And you go to console.
These are not labeled the fact that you probably
Okay. So it's not like in So this is to get the whole idea, right? This is to make a capital B or something, I'm always like adding this in, so.
Yeah, that's the
It was
problem.
loaded.
You have a typo. So this is
So
like 50% of the time it's going to be a typo. And to minimize that, you can try to use the dot and then use the hints instead of type it yourself. That's what I would suggest. All right. Okay, so then we're going to create a new JavaScript file. And then we're going to name it the same obj-multiple, but .js. No, this is the JS. So we're going to say obj.multiple, except not HTML, but JS, and we put it in the JS folder, right? You don't have to match the name of the JavaScript file. That's not a requirement. I just think it's easier like that. You can name it something else, as long as you import it. And then we should be able to go in our HTML. And it's a blank file, but it's there. And then if we say JS, then we can select and import this file. So now we have obj-multiple.html and obj-multiple.js. Okay, is everyone caught up?
Yeah.
Then we're going to go in obj-multiple.js, and then we're going to create a comment, a template for the objects, for the hotel objects. And this is what we do if we wanted to create multiple hotels, which is what you need to do in your homework. So here is how this is going to look. We're going to have a function named hotel. So the objects are generally with a capital first letter, unlike variables which start with lowercase. And then we're going to pass to this function 3 arguments, which are going to be the properties of the hotel. So it's the same we have been doing. We're going to say we want to have name, rooms, and if it's booked. And now we have this function which we're going to implement. So this function is like the template for creating objects. And inside the function is going to be the following. And this is a little, it's not really tricky, but it's new, it's different. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're saying that we want to set this dot name, which means the name that belongs to the hotel object. I want you to set it to the argument that I'm passing in to this function. Okay? How does that sound? All right, let's try this again. So we're creating a function. The function has a name. We're passing 3 arguments to the function. Are you following so far? The arguments are hotel, rooms, and booked. And then inside the function, which this function is a special function because it's a function for an object, creating an object, then we're going to say this dot name. So this is going to be the property. This dot name refers to the property of the hotel. And then this name refers to the argument that we're passing in. Okay, so when we're calling the function, we're going to be passing here park or whatever, and it's going to set the property to that value. So keep that in mind, and then I think when we actually call the template, it's going to become more clear than that. The next one is going to be this dot rooms. It's going to equal to rooms. And this dot booked is going to equal to booked. And then this dot check availability, which is the same function. So you can have a function within the function. It is going to return the same as before. This dot rooms minus this dot booked. So close the function, the inner function here, and close the object. And then when we create the objects now, I think it's going to become clear. So basically we have created like a template or a factory for creating hotels where we can pass them different names, rooms, and whether the room is booked or not, or how many booked are in the hotel. And that's how we're going to be creating multiple instances from this function. So let's create an actual object. We'll create 2 hotel objects. So the first one is going to be the K hotel is equal to, so here is again we're using the new keyword, so it's a new object of type hotel. And then we're going to pass it the arguments we define in the template, except the actual arguments, not just the name for them. So it's going to be the K, and it has, let's say, 40 rooms, and 25 of them are booked. But now, because we have this template, we can also create a park hotel, which is equal to a new hotel, park, with 120 rooms and 77 booked. And you can go on like that, hundreds if you so desire. And those, if you took the zip sharp, you should put it there. Yeah, the function hotel. Because it's an object, I'm not sure it does. Let's run it and if it complains about it. I'll just make it on my mind. I think it's kind of different. This here is the manual of C#. Yes. Do you think C# or Python? It's the same idea.
Oh, I have to get it.
Well, you have a constructor as well. You know, the constructor mentions, actually you do because, you create an object, you get a constructor and construct as well. So it's not-
So where exactly?
That's true, the Java institution is based on the whole constructor, so if you don't like your own, you will know what to do. But if you want to create a different version of constructor, where you can. JavaScript doesn't actually care for classes in this implementation, so you just need to. You can either do this or you can create the object or certain things. So just create an object generically.
So basically there are like three methods that we have.
So we have a format HTML,
Which doesn't allow us extensions.
so it is instantiated, you can
Yes. So we don't have a template. So basically this is the only method that uses a template.
Yeah.
So this is sort of the solution to the homework. Do you have any questions here at this point? Yes, Dana, was it?
Yes, yeah. I did my job so the last example wasn't functional fully, and so this example is just one HTML browsers and
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
So details on this is when we're starting plus open layers.
No, it's weird. Because then GDL has a bond,
Yeah.
you type,
Basically, it's your
So we actually need to add some code to output this to the HTML. So are you ready to continue, or do you have a question? Yeah, who got a question?
This period, space period,
this first one is
Yeah.
You learn the console?
I got
Yes.
And what is it?
Having decided.
Okay, that's more difficult. Can you just write together? Okay, so you may have an error in the HTML. When we give your first example for now as it is, we'll come back and we'll take it. Okay, let's finish writing our objects to the HTML and then we'll take a break. So we have a few more lines here. So now we have created two objects and then we're going to update the HTML on the page. And we're going to, all right, actually, let's take a break because I think the way that we're going to write it is going to require some additional explanations. So take a 10-minute break, and then we're going to write it on the HTML, and then we're going to learn about accumulating results by assigning it with a plus equal operator to a variable. So I would like to talk about that instead of rushing through it. So see you in 10 minutes.
I can do that because as much as I love music, sometimes I have writing page, I'm putting page T to a writing methodology, and that's more work for my WordPress class. You might have to go on earlier to do this for a number for 7 This catch up is you want to code. And Kitten is open source. And they should also support. I do. Kitten judges you on your code. I know.
Does he want you?
Oh, tired.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. I did a job. So I'm tired of money.
Congrats.
It's pretty usual. Let's see somebody. I know.
Because we're creating a completely like
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
What's the name?
First constructor. This is a constructor. Well, no, yeah. I think that both constructors, but this one is.
Yeah. You were there? Yeah. Well, we said you should leave them.
Yeah.
We don't have applications.
But like if you had a guess.
Yeah, but a lot of
What do you want? Okay,
Yeah.
one of the same.
Oh, my God.
Each guess becomes an object.
Yeah.
Like it's going away.
Really?
Cool.
I learned from Amazon.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I buy my the paper.
Oh, no, I didn't Kindle because I do search.
They have it PDF. They have it actually.
No, I like Kindle because I use that to search about topics.
You may actually be looking for answers.
Alright.
The reading
The
R2 size, not the whiteboard.
Oh, the R2, you have to read the book and then there's some questions. Through reading, you're gonna.
So he's not looking for essays.
It's not essay, no, answer questions. Yeah, so that way when you see these keywords, then demonstrate all the words.
Yeah.
So the topics can show you the paragraphs that are associated with your keywords, and then see the best one match. I mean, this is for my.
How do they, that's something we were having.
What?
How do they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the time, local, also,
Do you work?
I'm not working. Too much. Busy now. We can
Oh, Breakfast of Champions.
Oh no.
Isn't that a Breakfast of Champions?
No, no,
I figured it out.
Wayne Lane. Oh my God. I used to live in
It still turned purple.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God.
I'm still typing and she's asking questions. I can't answer because I'm still typing. I don't know.
Wayne Lane's question JavaScript. I never read Wayne. I was wondering why the hell Wayne was in the back of my site for so long. I was like, that's what's going on. And then,
You drove up and down.
because I drove up and down really fast. And then all the positions are like, I had no, I completely forgot. Okay, so.
Yeah, it's like automatically.
This was my original point.
What is this?
Right here?
I don't get to come tomorrow,
The original basis.
the evening, the guest speaker.
You won't be able to?
I don't get evening time outside.
Right, right.
It could be in Wednesday, probably 10 minutes to 20 minutes, meaning nothing. Just go and cook. A guest speaker experience share, right? I think it's
I was looking for something else to share with you, but
the subway.
we have a like a job fair on campus in Canvas on Thursday, so I'll get to just email on Canvas, I think, because I can't find the link right now.
Oh,
That's what I was looking for. So this is one thing.
so you get into this website to Hotel Central?
IT program.
Yeah, this is the IT progress website. You should go there and check out the announcements. And you can also subscribe and then get a newsletter. Maybe from Contact or somewhere, but you can subscribe to it.
Well, okay. We're gonna have to wait late.
Oh, thank you. Subscribe here.
Like a book or.
Well,
Subway.
maybe I know who that we can ask.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Visa?
So, yeah, there's some free, she actually has papers with free discounts for
Back a little
VMware students.
Oh, really?
So definitely go to the office.
You want to book on
Running
WhatsApp?
around circles.
No, I want to.
One more minute, I think.
Like online.
It has a juice box.
Oh, really?
Where you can download. I
It's a
just
countdown app on there.
Like I said, my timer is just the summer is automatic. Putting the alarms. I get too many alarms already.
It's
That's
called
true.
operation system.
Yes.
You used to have to have a cute kitty or something to say meow. or something.
Yeah, that's what we should do. That's right. That's the way.
Enrollment. This quarter. They close. I just had it last week.
Had it?
But I was too busy. I did not do it.
Okay, well, let's resume. So we said that the next thing we're going to do is add add the code to actually output these two objects and their properties on the HTML. Yes, Aaron?
I have a quick question. Is there a difference between what they're called? Is constructor notation the other way and this way, correct?
Yeah, so these are two forms of constructor. This is the template, so you can create multiple objects through a
So if I was like
template.
going to differentiate between the two ways, I'd like the template method, which would be like you make the template and then declare it. And then the one that's like you do it as you go.
But you still have constructors here, right? You can,
Right.
when you use the new word, and you instantiate the new objects here. All right, so let's go ahead and do something different, a little different. So we're going to have a variable details1. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by adding the first hotel dot the name, and then we're going to use concatenation. So instead of outputting those words like rooms in the HTML, we're going to print them through the JavaScript. I think I told you about concatenation. In fact, I'm sure I did. That's when you string together multiple strings. So then we're saying quay hotel name dot plus and then space room. So this is your literal string. And then semicolon. And then we're going to have details1, which is the same variable, plus equal. So that's the new part I wanted to talk about. So this is going to accumulate what is already in details1 and then add on to it. This is what this means. Plus equal means keep what is there and add on to it. And so we're going to add to the hotel plus name plus rooms.
Could you repeat that, what you just said about the plus equals?
Yes. So the plus equals means keep what is already in details and then add on to it. So right now the variable details holds the K hotel and then rooms, right? Because that's what we assign it. When we just assign, now it contains this information, this data. And then when we say details plus equals, it's still going to contain, it's not going to override it. If I use the equal without a plus, like so, then it's going to wipe out what was there previously and then replace it. But that's not what we want here. What we want is to add on to what was there. And the syntax for that is by using the plus equal.
So basically just concatenate it so you can split it on different lines.
Yeah, it
Right, 'cause
concatenates
you can
it.
type it out 120 characters.
Certainly, you can just keep on
It'll be
adding
unreadable.
here. That's right. It's mostly done to show you that you can do it this way. You could do it differently as well. But the key is that it doesn't override what's there, but adds on to what is there. Okay, so then we're going to have khotel dot check availability. And now we're going to have our variable EL hotel1. Oh, I think we need to, yes.
Is check availability a built-in function?
No, it's not built in. We have created it right there.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Okay, sure. So get the element by ID is a built-in function.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the variable hotel1 is going to equal to document dot get element by ID. And I actually think we need to make some changes to our HTML here because we have to, let's see. All right, so save this. And we're going to jump to the HTML. And we're going to change in the H2 hotel availability, we're going to have ID of hotel1.
So you in construct HTML of multiple
Right.
HTML.
So we're in the HTML code that corresponds to the JavaScript we're working with.
Yeah.
Right. We say, remember, we just used the constructor object HTML, but we actually have to make a couple changes to it. So go to your HTML page that contains the code we're working with. You should have a file obj-multiple.html.
Yeah.
Open this file.
Yeah.
All right, great. Then go inside the H2 where it says hotel availability. And then what we need to have is we're going to have just two divs. The first one is going to have an ID of hotel1. And then the second one, so note we're deleting this because we'll be outputting everything through JavaScript. And the second div is going to have an ID of hotel2.
We haven't
Like to change the title.
We created, but we haven't added the code to print it out, right? Yes, I do. Thank you.
It's all confused. The title.
Which title?
The title construction.
Oh yeah, so change this too. Okay.
That's what I confused.
That's what I was saying. Sometimes when you do a shortcut, it's actually more confusing. So this is the object of multiple. Let's name the title here multiple objects. And then I think we should be okay.
I think you might have an extra div, I'm not sure.
I might. Yes, I do. So I'm delete one of these divs here. So we just have one div container, and inside the div container we have an h2 and two divs with ID of hotel 1 and hotel 2. Okay. All right, so then I'm going to go back to the JavaScript. Okay. So this is all pure HTML. I'm assuming that you guys have this under control. And is this a laughing matter?
Nervous laughter.
You should though, you should. But if you have any question, I'm happy to answer it. This is like, but yeah, never assume. Okay, and then we're going to, for hotel 1, we're going to get the idea of hotel 1. Back in the JavaScript. And then EL hotel 1 dot text content, which is this is a built-in property, by the way. It's going to equal to details 1, right? So this is now only displaying the first hotel, but I just wanted to show you. And indeed, when we run this code, it's now showing hotel availability, query rooms 15. And this is all coming from the JavaScript, right?
Just detail 1, that's it.
All right, why don't you try to do the second one? Well, maybe you want to try doing the second one by yourself? Yeah, why don't you? And then we'll do it together. Just be careful for all the little details that you need to change. It's the same principle. There's lines 18 to 22, but there's some little details you have to change, so you have to understand what to change.
We have to match up.
Exactly.
All right. There's another way of thinking.
Oh, for each
It's the
hotel,
same.
I have to
Well, it's not the same, but it's a different way of thinking. If you're using an HTML, you can do some more formatting to the tags, but it has some security considerations. So we have to look at it. But we do have document type, which is really which is used to understand it.
It's just
Right. When we have document type, it's on one of the skills.
It's gonna take out. You need the details to produce on last line. Hotel 2, dot,
Yeah, that name.
JavaScript. What's this?
What do you say if you just do it?
Oh,
I gotta run through HTML.
You can do things multiple ways.
Do like the two, so I see what the first are. Okay. Pretty much just here it is. So I did it twice.
Okay, you only can preview from the HTML page. You can't preview from JavaScript. So always go into the HTML page. And also make sure to save your JavaScript. You can make changes because they will not open it. So if you have not, it's okay. So just see if you can do the same thing on here. Any questions at this point? It's not too bad, right?
It doesn't run though.
we're trying to figure out why.
If you got your example to work, you can start thinking about your homework. It's pretty much similar, just you have to invent your own different objects, right? Yeah. Okay, so did you run your console? Do you know how to run your console? Okay, this is.
I would just comment it, yeah.
Alright, so then you have to actually. Alright. So first of all, is this in the right folder?
So.
This one's doing anything.
Actually, go back to your Java folder. Oh, I know what's going on there.
Because they're all
That has to be details.
Okay, so I don't think that's it. Okay.
I think the comment taught that line.
Oh, I thought I commented the whole thing. Oh, that one doesn't line.
There's some
Yeah.
here with Unicode in
It meant to be the other one.
the parentheses. You see, this is all orange, so you never close the quotation mark after JS. And so it was never getting the JS. So if you're trying to look in the console and there is nothing there, there's some things to check is if you actually include your, so this is important. Okay. What you should check then is, did I include my JavaScript file properly at all? And then also, do you have some errors in your HTML? So check these kind of items if you're looking at the console and it's blank. Okay. Yeah, of course. Okay, here's one.
Oh, it's mutable.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's some.
I bet you
Alright, so do you run the console? Yeah.
at least it has a chance of it.
Go back to this.
Check in the console.
Save
Let's
it.
close this.
All right, let's see.
So close your browser.
Now they're running it.
And then run it again, and let's just see. Yeah, let's just see, because if there is something there, you just have to say.
Okay. Let me try, keep that up, keep that up. Can I test this?
Sure. Oh, I should be able to go to there.
So let's not do this. All right, so there's. So then.
The contact doc is not defined. Doc got, oh, it has to be document got element by ID. instead of
Oh,
doc.
it's the doc, it doesn't know what doc is. So,
Yeah, no, so that's why it's there. In PHP, it's like, substitute, we're not gonna tell you anything wrong. So, oh, you know.
Yeah, it makes sense. So maybe that's right.
cool.
Okay,
Is it
so
okay?
Let's see.
Oh, like this good.
All right, did you get an error message now?
We're not saying that, it's not connected to the JS. That is.
But is it okay to use detail one and detail two?
It shouldn't make it different.
But let's see, my partner or like.
Yours is working, and the math is correct.
You use the little commands and it works.
Yeah.
So this is the examples from the book.
Yours is working, and
So you're not maybe in the folder is not. And you're not connected to the right folder where you call it. So because I'm trying to use the bracket helper. Right? And then it's not showing the file. So, this is the thing.
Well, that was their G now.
So that's you need to figure out. Okay, go ahead.
How do you do that?
Look back
I have no idea.
Okay.
Kind of like, amazing with the.
So it's because the way you name it is a document, that's probably not, maybe that means it's a JavaScript file.
Oh, I meant to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Instead of the dot.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Did you save one? Oh, the JavaScript doesn't save unless you save.
Oh, well.
Yeah, yeah, it's, I don't know why they do that. The HTML will save and it's pretty good for the JavaScript. So try to see.
So now
I figured something out though. With my own brain.
always recall. Yeah. You can't be like, oh, I typed it in. The browser's like, oh, sorry, that was my bad this time.
And I'm going to that browser. And then back to JSC. Or more LINT. And then up to and then paste. And then oh, yeah. Well, so JSC is not as simple, so go back there.
Yeah. Instead of having, branch one, branch two, branch three.
Kind of broke it,
Actually,
that's not
give
really
me
an issue.
just become a city branch, or city branch.
There's need to be visual stabilization.
But I'm keeping these branch one, branch two. Did I actually?
Yeah, I should stop with cleaning it up. I'm just gonna say, just see something.
I don't like the names of them. Well, actually, I'm gonna keep on my branch one, branch two, branch three, because that way, these can get swapped out. And if I hard code this Hillman branch and Hillman cities go bye-bye, and it does something with Greenwood, it would then branch one use for your Greenwood.
Okay, I'll look at it, maybe, so if you are done with the example, then you should be working, I guess, when you're thinking about your
Assignment.
Because I'm resolving some trouble, I'm doing some troubleshooting here.
So
You want to take a look at Mavis's code? I'm not seeing it immediately right there. And see if you can see something.
So you're done today, right?
I'm sorry?
You're done?
Well, I was hoping we can continue with start the chapter 4,
Oh, okay.
but right now you can use this time to come up with your project, okay? So give me a couple more minutes because I'm trying to troubleshoot a couple of
I have no problem. I just want to make sure if you don't continue, I have things to do.
I'm trying to get to something new, so I'll probably do this in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So at 2:30, I am planning to do something else. You can stay or go, but that's what I'm planning to do. Cannot set property of undefined.
I'm not entirely sure what it means by because it's claiming.
Oh, okay, that's easy. Okay, so this one is easy. Your name was lowercase and uppercase,
Oh, so this has
so that has to be matching. And then this has to match this. So this is a new variable yield room, so on line 16. So you need to change that. Yeah, this needs to be yield rooms. Although those names actually are not what we're working with. We're working with hotel 1 and hotel 2. Yeah, so then.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get the previous one.
I'll take this.
But for some reason, you can't rent use the city. Good to let people know. They can drive up.
I was thinking about that movie Uncle Buck, where like, yeah, we have rental shoes, like more like foot disease.
Oh, come on, they go spray.
Come on, they have that magic spray.
And then it's very great. I want to know. Yeah, but it is.
Perfect.
If you love loops, take comp sci one time with the code. His midterm was all loops. Really,
I never loved these.
complex and nested loops. Of his house.
See what I do? Yes.
I got generally because.
All right, there are a couple errors that I guess I'm not finding immediately, so I don't want to call up the entire class for that. So what I'd like you to do is email me your code. Just copy the HTML and then copy the JavaScript and email it to me, or maybe me and Aubrey, and we'll look at it and get back to you. I'm sure it's something obvious, but sometimes. All right.
Maybe your assignment 3 moved to another Wednesday as well.
Well, we keep on doing that. I'm hoping we'll stop doing that. But yeah. Maybe we will.
Because
But remember, we have a Wednesday as well. So.
always Wednesday.
All right. Yeah, but yeah, make sure to email me the code and I'll look at it. We didn't see that. All right. So hopefully the previous chapter gave you a solid introduction. So everything builds upon itself. So you need to really keep up with the material. Yeah. Oh yeah, we really should do that actually. Let's do that. That's very important. So in fact, before we can talk about decisions, we need to talk about built-in objects. That's a very important topic. Thank you. I was really trying to get to chapter 4, but Bogdan is going to prevent me from doing it. So okay.
Keep her honest.
Oh, that's a very important topic. So. All right, built-in objects. All right. So there's a couple different types of built-in objects that we're going to learn about and use in our JavaScript adventures. First of all, we wanted to have the web browser as an object, so we have the browser object model. So some of the properties so these are built-in. In other words, you don't have to create them yourself, you just get to use them. That's what built-in means. They're part of the browser. Some of the properties that are part of the browser object model and object include the window. So the window is considered the browser, right? Okay, so the name of the object is the window. And it has properties such as inner height, inner width, screen height, screen width and screen height, screen X and Y. And it has various methods So for example, you can print from the window, right? So you know how in the browser you can say print, so that calls on the browser print method. Secondly, we're going to be working with, and we are already working with, objects that are part of the document object model. When we call document dot get element by ID, these are the built-in objects of the document object model. And this is essentially the page which is loaded in the browser. So this is, when we say document, what do we actually mean? We mean the page that is loaded in the browser, or as it is here in the tab. So there's the difference. The browser is the entire browser, and then your page is the document, and the document object model is created of your page. You remember we talked about document object model? And so here are some of the methods and properties of the document object. Title, last modified, and two that you're familiar with, document write, and get element by ID. So that's where these come from. They're built-in methods, and you now know what methods are of the document object. Okay? And then finally, or last but not least, they're also the global JavaScript objects. These are objects that are available to you when you write JavaScript code, and they're just things like a date, for example, general purpose, and then you can call them and use them in your code. So, for example, some of the properties include length, the length of your string. You can get that through the string, through JavaScript rather. And you can use also these methods, they all tied with a string. When you use a string in JavaScript, what you can do is you can convert your input, for example, to all uppercase or all lowercase, or get, let's say, what is the character at the specific location in your string. And so the browser object and its methods and properties, the document objects and its methods and properties, and the JavaScript global objects with their methods and properties. These are three available to us that we can incorporate in our code. And it's interesting, you can see that we use the same methods, the same concepts to, to work with our own custom objects. The same concepts are used also when the built-in objects have been created, right? So it's all the same in concept, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's do a couple examples of that, and then it looks like we're going to go to chapter 4 on Wednesday. Maybe move our homework again. In fact, let's see here. Let's do the string object. Are you raising your hand?
One.
Stretching. All right, so let's close your existing work. And then we're going to create a new HTML file, string object, .html. And so the string is one example of an object, of a global JavaScript object, and there are more, right? So we're going to say doc type, HTML. And the string object has a lot of very helpful methods. So we'll look at just a subset of them. I'm going with problem wordy and div with ID of info. And actually, that's all for the HTML, except we need to add our JavaScript file. So I'll just go ahead and create a new file. Save as string object.js. And I'm putting it in my JS folder. No. Okay. All right, and I'll go back into HTML and let's import this file. String JS, and we want string object.js.
And the close your script.
Did it close yours?
The map.
You did it good, correctly? All right. Okay, so then that's all for the HTML, and I'm now going to go in the JavaScript, and then we're going to create a variable to hold the string and essentially experiment with it. With the string object methods and properties. So this is going to be a variable with the name saying. It's going to hold home. Sweet home is a string that is stored in this variable. And we're going to create another variable. Make a comment here. Create a variable message to hold the output to the page. So we'll be experimenting with a saying variable and then using a variable message to print that whatever the result is to the HTML window, to the HTML page. So we have a variable message. And go ahead and say saying dot. And so the saying is a variable and it's a type string, right? It's a string, so JavaScript knows that. And therefore, what it shows us here is all the available methods and properties that you can work with strings with. And so the one we want right now is the property length. So I'm going to call saying.length, and this property actually tells you how many characters are there in a string. And then we can format this a little bit. So we're going to format it with, let's say, an H2. Well, actually, don't worry about it. Just say length. And then I'm going to add a paragraph here because we want these to be on a separate line. So I want each of the messages to show up on a separate line. And so I can add some formatting to my output, which means that we're going to need to use something else than text content, but that's next.
Like those formats, you use it.
So you can use these formats with if you're not using text, but if you're using a different output, which is called image HTML. Yeah.
There are 3 quotation marks. They're missing.
Let's see here. Yeah, we need to close the period, like so. So close the paragraph, and then actually I was not finished, and then semicolon. Okay, and then we're going to create the variables to call the element. So you know how to do this. And our only ID on the page is info, so we grab this node, and then we're going to say el dot, and now because we want to use some formatting here, instead of using the text content which you're familiar with, we have another method at our disposal which is called inner HTML. Or actually, sorry, property. It's a property. And then we're going to assign the message to this inner HTML. And I will talk later about the pros and cons of text content versus inner HTML.
It's like in file.
Well,
Not different.
it's different.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's see here. So there are many other experiments we'll be doing with our string, but let's start with this one. And I'll save all and then preview. And so as you can see here, I guess we should take out the travel word as it's not at all related, but, and I guess I misspelled length as well, but that's not important right now because length is a literal string. But the important point is that it shows us how many characters there are in homes with home, right? So the length property will show us, so we can double check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to count the blank spaces as characters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then let's change this for now. So just copy this on your clipboard and then put like your name or some other string. And now the length of my nickname actually is 5. What is the length of your name?
15.
15? You doing something, what, that sounds suspiciously like the previous example, so. All right. So if you want, you can take out the travel word. It doesn't matter. You can
take a look at string.
I'm just going to change this to string example here. Okay, is it working?
Oh,
someone
Are you using inner HTML because we're using tags?
That's exactly why. Because you want to use the tags. So inner HTML allows us to put tags to format our output with tags, and that's what we did. So this is pretty easy, right? All right, let's. I think we'll have time for one more, and there are many more. So actually, next time we'll continue with the string, so you can learn more of the properties and methods. But we can probably do at least one more. I'm going to get back to the example. Bring it.
No, it's not a program. Reference.
Oh, I see. We'll get to start.
no, I need to do it.
Okay, let's do one more for now. We're going to show how to convert a message to like a string to all uppercase. So that's something else that is available to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue working with message. So we have already declared it once. We don't declare it again. So we just say message, plus equal. So as we learned earlier, we're going to add on. We're going to have all kinds of information about the string. So we have the length, and we're going to add on to that uppercase.
You have to put it before.
What's that?
You have to put it before.
Yes.
the search engine.
So we're going to say uppercase. And then again, we'll do the paragraph, so it can take its own line. Plus, so close this, sorry. So the HTML tags, as you can see, they go inside the quotation marks. Plus the name of the string, which is same, and then dot, and then we're going to call to uppercase. Uppercase is a method, so you need to add the parents, and then we close our.
Locale uppercase.
No, this is a different one. This would work if you were concerned about the locale of the. It's like a more complex version, so all we have to say is to uppercase. Thank you. That was just typo. All right, and now I'll save all. I'll bring it back. Let's just test it real quick, and I'll bring it back. All right. So that's what we're going for. Now it tells us that the length is 15, and we have obviously converted it to uppercase, right? Here is the code, and this will be the last example we have. So we'll continue with this on Wednesday. There are many more helpful things we can do with strings and also with dates. And then we'll start with chapter 4 when we can. And if you had some code we couldn't look into, email me, and I really would like us to have more lap time, so we'll work towards that. It's all the information, right? So it's around line 4. Okay, so that's it for today. Thanks. All right, well, if yours worked, then that's it for today. And if it didn't work, email me, or you two please email me because this might take a few minutes.
Okay, but I might want to try it myself first.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
even better.
That's even better. Sometimes if I don't respond for like a few hours, then students email me and say, never mind, I figured it out.
Right, okay. So are we sticking to homework for Wednesday then?
Yeah, you know what you need to know to do the homework now. So you do the homework for Wednesday, for assignment 2. Right? Right? The constructor object. You're going to create some object that you're choosing.
Yeah.
Like what kind of stuff?
That's
do
the
you
one
like?
that I'm having trouble with.
What kind of stuff do you like?
Still figuring it out. Yeah, still figuring it out.
So you can do a product, product or something like that. Product with product code, product description, price. Okay. Thanks. See you on Wednesday. Yeah.